my name is Sammy, and welcome to another episode of my Stream 3 playthrough of Costume Quest 2, where I will be playing the game live while also providing analysis and commentary as I go. Alright, so, start things off. I am not sure if everything's going to be totally stable. I've actually had some issues, I'm not sure why, just getting things moving, getting things started. I've only been able to stream a few minutes before it just cut out, which is really strange considering I have had some really solid and stable streams in the past, and also considering that this is not a graphically intensive game. So I'm really confused as to what my issues are right now. It could just be I don't know, an internet issue, a lot of traffic in my area right now, congestion, or it could be on Twitch's end, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense that something is wrong on my end, because I don't know, just been doing some really solid, smooth streams without any interruptions with these current settings. So I don't know. Just as a precaution, I dialed things back a little bit on the OBS side. But if this ends up being in multiple parts, or if I can't have this playthrough at all today, and all you see are these many different parts on Twitch that are incomplete, well, this is the reason why. It's because I've not been able to sustain an actual stream without it just dying on me. So, talking to this guy. I thought the human children were supposed to be in the Tooth Academy. But what does Blob know? Alright, so, as I was trying to say in the original few parts, by the way, we have a quest here. This creature is going to a new area. Is that I finally got a new costume here, and I can actually, let's equip that right now. How do you do it? Right here. This costume gives me a new ability, allows me to use my crook to access this hook line here and then slide over to a new area, which I could not do before. So new ability unlocks areas I could not get to before. Pretty standard video game fare, and yeah, it allows more, a sort of natural gating of progress. Like, it makes sure that we do everything we need to do in this particular area before we can move on over here. Allows you to go through the story in the way the developers want you to do. So there is reason to have this gating on a narrative level, I suppose. Although I prefer games that make the world as open and free as possible and allow you to do things non-linearly. But for a very small scale game like Costume Quest, I don't mind a little bit of gating here and there. I don't mind a more linear experience, so to speak, through the pathway through the game. And by linear, I mean everyone's experience through it. As far as the narrative goes, the story is going to be very similar. There are no, like, branching paths like in a more non-linear RPG, like, say, a Mass Effect, which can have some very divergent story pathways. So, also, let's check out what this guy has for sale. Also, this costume allows me to go back to earlier areas and get to some secret places that I could not access before. So look forward to visiting those areas yet again and seeing what new things they have in store. I actually only know that because when I was looking back in my archives doing the descriptions for those videos, I noticed some things that like some hook lines in those areas that I didn't really notice before, because why would I? They would just look like natural environment things. But now that I have the crook, now that I have this new costume, the Pharaoh costume, all of a sudden those things become, or are imbued with meaning. There are areas where I can. How much candy do I have? Okay, I don't want to invest too much here. I'll come back to this guy once I'm more full up on candy. Meantime, let's just continue on to the new area using my new ability. So that's also another way in which my stream and the way I'm archiving things is allowing me to, or is slightly changing the way that I'm playing the game. It gives me knowledge that I might have not otherwise noticed before, or have had before. unless I was like really paying attention to those things and like, oh, and have a really good memory. Oh, I remember that there was a hook line in an earlier area, and now I should be able to revisit that area and use the hook line to access a part of the area, a part of the environment where I couldn't have accessed before. Alright, so we have another hide and seek kid here. Can I talk to him, or how do I get there? From here? There we go. Eek, you made me jump. 4 of 6 kids. Oh, by the way, this I also made this comment in one of the earlier false starts, that this game of hide and seek, my quest log here, 3 out of 6 kids, one of the largest, craziest games of hide and seeks, especially one involving just 6 kids that I've ever heard of or ever seen. So far, we found these kids in various environments. Like the past 3 or 4 areas in the game have had at least one or 2 kids. So, for a game with just 6 kids, it's amazing the lengths they go to hide and try to win the game. How far away they go in this city. They go to hide and win the game. Kind of weird, but I guess it's as I said, it is a way of having an elongated quest to give you a little bit of extra breadcrumbs to try and grab as you play the game, as you explore the main narrative or the main quest line. You have all these other quests. As you explore that quest, you have this additional side quest going on at the same time, and gives you more things to do over a longer period of time, I suppose. So if they did it in a way that made a little more sense, like 6 kids in, say, 1 or 2 areas, then you'd be done that quest very quickly, and you would have fewer motivational breadcrumbs to keep you moving, keep you going from environment to environment, actively engaging with those environments and then exploring those environments. So while it doesn't make sense, it actually, I think it makes the game slightly better, or adds a little bit more motivation for you to explore the environments. And hopefully, I guess the quality of the quest will be determined by the ultimate reward we get from finding these kids. So hopefully the reward is good, and it'll all be worth it. Anyway, let's continue on with the story here. Password: sweet wet wheat. So we got the password from an earlier area, from an earlier quest. We got the password, and now we're able to get to this particular speakeasy. This is the 3rd candy Halloween speakeasy we've seen. Oh, a save here too. 3rd Halloween speakeasy in a world where, in our future, where Halloween has been outlawed. We have these speakeasies in literally the underground, in like the sewer environments where these little clubhouses are tucked away, hidden from the anti-Halloween society up above, where they can eat as much candy and dress up costumes as much as they want. I like this little bit of world building. It's probably my favorite part of this whole weird future that Double Fine wrote up for this game, is the fact that it's not just a future without Halloween, but there are these weird speakeasies specifically for Halloween and candy eating. Alright, let's talk to some people now. I can have candy whenever I want, but I come down here for the vibes. Who let a human child in here? This is a club for elite monsters only. Pretty rich, but when I see how those elders are living, hoo boy, I still have a long way to go. I love to lord my candy over those who are less fortunate. Alright, so I bet this guy will give us a new quest, a new set of our new main objective to get through. So let's talk to him, see what's going to be up. Alright. Children, how did you get in here? Did you acquire zipline technology? We're trying to get into Dr. White's compound. Do you know how? Of course I do. I even have a key, but this is not a good time. I'm stressed out. Don't bother me now. What's stressing you out? Well, it's just that the Grubbin Elder is withholding my candy delivery. I'm down to my last crate of king-size fun-size bars. King-size fun-size bars. That's hard to say. He's totally cramping my style. Want us to pick it up for you? You would do that? You would do that? That would save my business. Sure. We'll just borrow your key to Dr. White's compound. Psh, way to make it sound not tantalizing anymore. Sorry, I can't give you my key. Overlord White would revoke my candy license. Pretty sure there's nothing more to say on the matter that I can think of. Alright, sounds like a little task for a diplomatic Thomas Jefferson. I don't say so myself. I do say it so myself. Alright, let's try a little bit of diplomacy to convince this guy. Our, kind of our own little Jedi mind trick. Alright, Mr. Elder, you don't have your deliveries. What good is your candy license? Maybe there's a chance Dr. White ruins you if you give us the key, but you're ruined for sure if you don't get your deliveries, right? I guess that's true. Okay, if you get my deliveries, I guess I can let you borrow the key to the compound. You'll need to knock on some doors downtown to get most of them. Some of them are up on the rooftops. The Grubbin Elder is up there, too. He's got the big fatty delivery. We need that one the most. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. Be right back. Alright. So Elite Speakeasy Deliveries. That's our new main quest. Also, it's kind of getting a little clear how Costume Quest 2 is continuing to motivate these whole trick-or-treating quests, especially when there's no Halloween in this future. Coming a little obvious, I suppose, a little on the nose. Or, maybe that's not the right word. I guess it's trying too hard to make that Costume Quest 2 core combat still a thing. You could even say that it's a bit kind of shoehorning it into the game. They've been coming, we're having these speakeasy deliveries, and that's just been the main quest line for the last 3 speakeasies so far. So I don't know, it's just getting a little. The first one, it was like, alright, that's kind of cute how they're kind of working in the trick-or-treating in this future without Halloween. Now it's kind of like, is that all you got? Can we get to, maybe we need to get to a new time period and have actual real trick-or-treating again. It's locked. Alright, so this is, I guess this is ultimately where I want to go. Get the key for this area, so I'm going to have to come back here. Also, let me check to see if that creature. Okay, here we go. I'm also doing this quest. This is also a elongated quest throughout multiple areas, continuing incentivizing me to explore the world and continue on with the game. Little breadcrumbs from here and there. Also, I guess this is the way back. I can use this as a way back here if I want to go back. Well, let's go to a new area. Why don't we? See what's up. Also, so my stream has not died yet, so I guess that's good news. Knock on wood. Don't want it to die all of a sudden or jinx it, but keep on going. I guess I'm enough in the game right now where might as well just keep on going till the end, or not the end, but the end of the stream today, rather than just call it a wash. I don't think I can call it a wash anymore. So I made too much progress in that regard. Let's delve into this new area and see what it's all about. All right. Lost my rump on Mice Krispy Treat futures. I guess I don't know how the market works. Made my fortune on candy corn derivatives. Interesting. This is like, I guess, the richer part of town. These financial grubbins. There's the claw marks again. We must be close. Alright, so here's the quest. Also, we got some stuff from Shady again. Map. Probably just get a map here. Hey Shady, can I see what you've got again? Sure, we're making quick. Time is candy. Alright, yeah. So at least just buy the map here. Buy those other things a little bit later. Die Jefferson's threads to enlighten him for flaming quill attacks? Okay. Look forward to that a bit later. Alright, let's try this quest here. See where this whatever monster is, whatever is leaving this footprints. Where he went. Not sure we want to know. Tracks leads into this building. Okay. Interesting. I'm disgustingly rich. I used to just be disgusting. Alright, do I want to do this quest right now, or do I want to continue on somewhere else? I guess I might as well. It's right here. Let's see what this is all about. Candy here. Alright, let's use this wand again. I suppose I need to just find wherever the next claw marks are, so just do a little bit of exploring and then be on our way towards completing the quest. Alright, so I don't know. Can I talk to this guy? No. Wherever it is, it's somewhere around here. I don't see any claw marks though, so I'll just talk to this guy. Welcome to Grubbin Grotto. We don't see many small humans around here. We won't be here long. We're just here to pick up a delivery that you owe. Oh, that? I've got bigger ventures in the work at the moment. I'm over at this chintzy speakeasy deliveries. I'm over those chintzy speakeasy deliveries. But I'll tell you what. Need someone with some courier skills right now. You look like you could carry stuff, no? If you help me, I'll give you what you want. Okay, what do you need? I run the biggest resort in town, but it's time for me to expand my business. I want to absorb Crestwhaler Cove across the way. Crestwhaler Elder has agreed to sign his contract. Go get his signature and bring it back. Then I will be the richest monster in the city. And I get half. What? Nothing, dear. A bit of double fine humor there. I don't feel any richer. Must not have gotten me the contract side. We're still couriering it. Alright. Being rich is almost as fun as stuffing my face. Okay. Alright, I haven't found any claw marks yet. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Let's see. That looks like a monster. Or a battle. The clown horn to move back here. There we go. Maybe the claw marks are around here. No claw marks, but there is a ton of candy in the pinata here. This is also, it's kind of a weird place to put a billboard, kind of facing the wrong way, isn't it? I think it'll be facing towards the street, not like within the building. I guess that kind of brings up the way the perspective of the game is, and also I guess the perspective as a third-person game, but also it's like a pulled back. I think they call it more like a three-quarters top-down view of the world, and it's also a fixed perspective. By fixed, I mean you cannot move the camera around. The camera's always fixed in this same perspective, as long as you are interacting with the game. Sometimes the perspective changes during cutscenes and whatnot. Combat also changes perspective a bit. But as far as just traversing the overworld here, this is the perspective that you're seeing, that you get. Let's change out of this clown costume and go back to something else. Jefferson, sure. And I guess that's something I haven't commented on just yet, as far as this game. I guess maybe because I took it for granted, that it's just a small little detail. I don't even notice it anymore about this game. It's just the type of game, or the style of perspective that the developers of the game Double Fine chose for this game is harkening back to earlier era of RPGs, back when the graphics technology wasn't so advanced, so they needed to. The world was drawn in a sort of two-dimensional perspective, two-dimensional fashion, I suppose, rather than 3 dimensions, and that a sort of top-down perspective on the world using sprites and two-dimensional graphics. It's a very efficient way of using the 2 dimensions, as opposed to something like, say, a first-person perspective, or a behind-the-back third-person perspective, where you're looking at the world head-on or parallel to the ground. There's a lot of things you have to render. You have to render perspective and distance, and that's something that early days of graphics technology couldn't really deal with that stuff very well or efficiently. Let's see what we got here. Candy teeth. Okay, check out what that is later. So naturally, with the graphics technology of games of say the NES era, Super NES, and earlier. Also, especially on handheld devices, even going to today, handheld devices like DS, Game Boy, what have you. That level of graphics technology lends itself, it requires sort of 2D or limited to two dimensions rather than 3 dimensions. And when you're in 2 dimensions, you want to have like a top-down overview, which kind of limits the amount of world being rendered, but also gives you a sort of overview of the surrounding area that you wouldn't get necessarily with a first-person or behind-the-back third-person view of the world where you're looking parallel to the ground. That's a more limited perspective. However, you get to see stuff in the distance as in a sort of exchange. I guess most RPGs of the earlier days were rendered quite like this in 2D. Probably the earliest one I played was Pokemon games, Pokemon RPG, where you have this similar perspective on the world as you're traveling around. Alright, let's do some combat here. This is going to be some combat. Also a good opportunity to continue on this discussion as well. Alright, so let's do a super and get this done faster. Yeah, so that 2D perspective, I guess, harkens back to those types of RPGs, the early days of RPGs, which I guess fits what I think this game is trying to do, which is act as somewhat of a parody to traditional RPGs in the way these turn-based RPGs work. All right, gotta work on my timing there, but I still defeated him. Focus on that guy well. Alright, I also have to learn how to do those counter moves. I don't know. In order to master the counter, you have to know which of your dudes is the enemy going to attack. Right? So, and that's kind of difficult. They don't really telegraph that ahead of time. You only have like a split second before they hit you before you can determine which one they attack. So it's a little bit of a tricky proposition to figure that stuff out. But anyway, as far as perspective goes, even though this game is in 3D and we have the graphics technology today to handle, say, a behind-the-back perspective, and many games do that perspective these days. I think because of the nature of the way this game is trying to parody classic turn-based RPGs and riff on those. That's why it's sticking to that fixed 3/4 top-down sort of perspective. Plus, it also allows the developers of the game to make a more minimalist graphical style as well, just because the top-down perspective lends itself to a more minimalist style, just like for the same reasons why it worked for 2D graphics back in the day. Even though this is in 3D, they can go for a minimalist style, more cartoony style, rather than going for a super realistic style, which I guess is more synonymous with that first-person perspective or the behind-the-back perspective. Nice. Yay, I'm getting more amazings as we go. So, beyond, as far as further commentary on the... Need some water. Hopefully there's not some more combat here. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. There's a opponent right here. More claw marks. I thought we lost him. Alright. Great point to save. As far as perspective, it also informs a lot of the design decisions in the game that you might not otherwise think of. Like, it's a very subtle distinction here. Like, for example, everything in the world needs to be designed so that you can see it, or at least everything that's important or interactive. So, like, these fountains can only be situated in places where they face the player, either on this angle or on this angle, right? I haven't seen one ever. I guess they could be anywhere in this 180-degree arc, but they can't be, say, facing the way I'm facing right now with my character. They can't be facing on the bottom of the screen, facing towards the top of the screen, because that's away from the perspective of the player. So everything that's interactive needs to be designed in a way where it's facing the screen, where we're looking. So you could argue that that's sort of a limiting factor of this fixed perspective, and also a limiting factor in the way the world has to be designed. Like, for example, every single door that you can get through or see has to be on, or has to be on a building where it faces the screen, just like the fountain, which makes the world a little bit weird when you actually think about it. There are no doors facing, like, certain sides of the buildings where they're facing away from the player, away from your perspective. Or I guess there could be doors, but they're not important doors. They're never important doors. So again, that's a little strange when you think about it. However, usually when you're playing a game, you're not thinking about these things. You take it for granted. You get used to the way the world is rendered, the way it's being portrayed. So these things aren't really big deals. Oh, I also have to check out these claw marks and see where they go. So let's check out, change costumes here. Go to the wizard. Alright. See where it leads. Ongoing quest. Tracks go to this ledge and then stop. So they go down here, or do they go over here? Okay. So we can go this way. Looks like a point of no return where I have to, I can't come back unless I go all the way around. Or I can go this way. Or if I'm going to do combat, then I think I want to switch costumes again. Let's go back to Jefferson. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, there's also a lot of the environment down there where I haven't explored yet, so there's more to do there. A lot of discussion on the perspective of the game. I'm not able to, I can't just react to what I'm seeing in the environment right now. Is that this one is impressively big because it's working on multiple levels. There's a street level down there. There's these rooftops I can explore. So it might not be huge from a sort of total surface area of the game from a two-dimensional, top-down perspective. However, if you're considering all the levels of the area, then it is all of a sudden very, very large. Alright, let's get this combat out of the way. We can continue the discussions. Alright, do I want to say anything more about the fixed perspective? Yeah, all in all, it's a little strange. It's a stylistic choice. It's not necessarily good or bad. Simplistic or complex. It's just a stylistic choice harkening back to the traditional RPGs. It informs the design of the entire world, especially interactive objects. They have to be facing the player. The design of the world has to be made with that perspective in mind. However, this is something that doesn't necessarily impact your immersion in the game. It's something. This the style of the game, the way it's rendered. It's something that you just get used to, and you don't end up really thinking about a question after, say, the first few moments of the game, or even at all. Once you're immersed in the game, you buy into it, and you overlook a lot of the weird stuff in the way everything is presented. Potentially weird stuff, and they're not necessarily inherently weird. And also, the perspective allows the game to be minimalist and not require a whole lot of resources. A lot of resources to design. So there's that. Oh boy. All right. So I'm trying to master the counter. I'm taking a lot of damage. What if I do it on a character that's still alive? I mean, do I heal up, or do I... Okay, I do heal up. I heal up full, okay. So the clown, I guess, this one's a single large heal. The Pharaoh's a single large heal. The clown is a heal for all characters, I think. I believe that's how it works. Alright, getting the amazings. Still not quite figuring out the... It's over with. Let's get this guy down. Super. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the counter, but I'm really taking a lot of damage because I can't figure out how to best... I've not mastered the counter at all. So I'm just gonna spam the supers and hopefully not die here. Sweet. Alright, let's get back to the save point because I am almost dying. Alright, more Clarmocks. That's good. We're on the right track. Alright. Almost done discussion on the perspective of the game, the top-down perspective we're seeing here. It allows Double Fine developers to create a more minimalist, less realistic style, go for a more animated or cartoony style, which I think works very well in the game. Although it's not 2D, they can go for the more minimalist 3D perspective. Alright, here's a little perspective change. Speaking of perspective, sudden perspective change, I guess for effect and emphasis. See, this kind of shows how the game's graphics can render distant objects, unlike, say, a two-dimensional game. This still can render 3D environments very well, but for the purposes of the game style, it chooses a fixed top-down perspective on purpose, right? For the intended effect, for the style of RPG it is, style of role-playing game that it is, and also for the fact that you can see more of your environment from a top-down perspective overall, or rather the environment directly around you, surrounding you, whereas this more behind the back perspective we're seeing right now, which it just shifted to, shows you more stuff in the distance at the expense of certain parts of the environment that you can normally see from top down. So for example, right now we can't see stuff behind our character, behind where our character is looking, but we can see a lot of what we're looking at in front, or as far as depth, far away things. So I guess as far as a perspective shift, this creates a nice little emphasis, right? Creates a big moment to draw your eye deliberately, and they can do that just with the perspective shift like this, that shows you the game in a way that you haven't seen up until this part. So it really, the emphasis is true. It works very well, and I guess it comes across. Its intended effect really comes across, really hits you right away. So With that in mind, switch costumes and continue this quest. There's some more claw marks here. Up right here. There's also, I guess, a way down over here, but okay. We've committed to this quest. Let's keep going with this claw mark quest and see where it leads us. And after that, we can do more exploration of the environment. What happened? The tracks just end here. Okay. Oh, okay. Wolfie, huh? Hey, wait a minute. You're just a kid. Busted. I've been running around in this sweet costume illegally for a few days now. I've been leaving marks around to throw the guards off my trail, so they don't arrest me and try to make me floss. I get it. They try to do that to us too. That is a sweet Wolfman costume you've got, though. Well, you can have it. I'm sick of hiding from the law. If I get in trouble again, I'm gonna be grounded. Besides, it's getting kinda ratty. Oh, so, new costume out of nowhere. Interesting. I had fun with it, now it's your turn. I'm out of here. If I'm not back in time for meatloaf, Mom's gonna kill me. Alright, so this really long-term, well, not really that long-term, but somewhat long-term quest tracing these footsteps all over town. Here's a sweet reward right up front. Whole new costume without having to assemble it for free. No combat needed. So I guess that's about as high reward a game can give you for exploration, for exploring the world, as it could give, I suppose. Totally free costume. So let's check this out. Let's check it here. What it gives you. Alright, Wolfman. Focus damage over time. Combat special Night Terrors. Wolfman whips himself into a frenzy and heads towards an unfortunate enemy, leaving lasting damage. Alright. So for a big enemy with a lot of health, I guess this will pay dividends over time. So this will be great during a boss battle. If I want to go for that particular style of combat, damage over time. Exploration ability, none. Alright, so that's probably why it's a sort of the way the quests work, because it has no exploration ability. That I could think that usually means it makes it an optional costume. You don't need to find this costume to actually explore the world and get to new areas. Just like unlike, say, the wizard costume or the Jefferson costume, which has specific abilities in the overworld that allow you to access new areas. This one is one of the more, definitely one of the more, or definitely is an optional costume, and useful only in combat. But it is a pretty good ability as far as I can tell. Definitely want to test it out for sure. Alright, so long-term quest paid off. I think I want to switch over as far as costumes go. Barrow. Let's go with Wolfman, Jefferson, and superhero. Alright, so there are two options I can go. Well, let's save first. Why don't we? Can't go here. This, I guess, is just a way back. I can go over this edge here, down there. I can go over this edge here, or I can actually go here through this door. Let's see where this leads. Alright, I can't actually go through this door. Never mind. Alright, so I have two options. Which way do I want to go first? Let's check out what's down here. Okay. Oh, nice. Pinata. More free candy. And there's a door here. Where does that lead? Okay, it leads right back here. That's great. That way I can check out the next part. Right here. Right away. So, as far as quests go, that one's done. Still looking for the deliveries and the last two hide-and-seek kids. Alright, so is this one of the deliveries here? So I think so. Trick or treat. Uh-oh, combat. Guess we get to test out our Wolfman costume right away. What that's all about. Alright. That's supposed to be like a Teen Wolf type of costume, or a Teen Wolf homage? Maybe. Alright, which one do I want to do? kill first? Probably this guy. Sweet, amazing, right up front. Alright, let's just get rid of this guy. I know I can do lasting damage to him, but I think it's just better to get rid of enemies as quickly as possible before they're allowed to attack. This makes sense to me. Alright, got my counter. I guessed right. Alright, so I think the way the counter works is you just make a guess as to which of your guys they're going to attack. And if you're right, then you get to do the counter and deal damage back to them. If you're wrong, then you just quickly switch over and block normally with the other guy. So I guess this gives you a 33% chance to counter if you choose right. Other than that, you could probably try and read the enemy's animation to see if you can tell which one of your guys they're attacking. But as far as I can tell, you have to just guess which of your guys they're going to attack before they can make their move. And which effectively gives you a 33% chance to do a counter. Now let's test out this damage over time ability. See what that means. So I'll just attack the other guy. Yeah, see, I tried Jefferson first, but there, I guessed right that time. Let's finish off this guy. Actually, in combat, I'm really liking this Wolfman costume, so I actually might want to keep him for the time being. His ability is pretty sweet. Damage over time can pay a lot of dividends, especially in longer boss battles. Yeah, amazing. Always love when I can pull off an amazing. Alright, so it looks like a lot of these trick-or-treat doors are hidden or spread out throughout the environments. Some of them are on the rooftops even, not even on the ground floor. Which I guess makes sense because in this area, having some trick-or-treating happening on the ground floor would be a little too obvious, a little too suspicious. Easy to be found out that way. So it makes sense on that level. Let's go back there for the purpose of saving. And we can just head back again, continue on. Also, let me check back here again. I'm pretty sure there was a door here that I ignored. Not there. Here? Yeah, right there. There should be a delivery or trick-or-treat thing here. But I'll switch back to the Wolfman. Let's try Wolfman and how about let's switch things up to the pterodactyl. Jefferson is pretty cool as well. Alright, straight up delivery, that's good. Tell that repudiant elder that I want more points. Alright. So that part of the quest is done. And let's continue on rooftops. Also, I definitely want to look on the bottom environment too. I don't want to leave that out. I guess I was a little too quick to get to this rooftop environment. I didn't explore enough of the street level. But I'll definitely get to it for sure. Alright. Oh, hey, that's another kid. How did you see me? I was practically entombed. That's another way that the fixed perspective makes certain types of quests a little bit more possible. Here's one example: was that this kid hiding behind here, we're only not able to see a lot of him because of this fixed perspective. If you're allowed to change the perspective of the camera, for instance, have more camera control, then a lot of that hide and seek specific combat would become trivial. It wouldn't be that much of a quest now, would it? However, it's made possible because of that fixed perspective. You know, one other point I could make. Let's do combat here. One other point we could make about the fixed perspective is that sometimes it actually causes problems if a game just goes for that design decision, that style of rendering. Then there can be some certain disadvantages that crop up from the fixed perspective. There has been some negative commentary on that. Let's get rid of the Conjurer. In that sometimes people are really uncomfortable with that fixed perspective. They really want to be able to move the camera and see as much of the environment as possible. Maybe from a informational perspective, also possibly from a problem of claustrophobia. Maybe they don't like that restriction. They like the freedom of being able to turn the camera around, and that's a perfectly understandable criticism. Probably the biggest criticism of the fixed perspective camera that you can think of. Alright, so I guessed wrong there, but I did a normal block. Let's do last. Let's check out the super on this one. Sweet. As far as fixed perspective, I usually don't have a problem with it. I respect it from as a valid stylistic choice. And the downside of not being able to see the whole environment, having that restricted view, not being able to turn the camera, not that big of a deal for me. Sometimes, if the camera actually gets caught on something or blocked by an object, then it can become a problem. And that's usually where the criticisms of the fixed perspective come. Especially when it is used in a three-dimensional graphics game rather than 2 dimensions. Because with 3 dimensions, when you have objects rendered in 3 dimensions, then sometimes it doesn't lend itself to the fixed perspective because some of those 3-dimensional objects get in the way of the camera, and then you have no way of moving the camera around besides just moving your character. So, and at that point, then it becomes a huge downside. I don't think I need a super here. That's usually why people get upset with fixed perspective and want to see it, you know, gone. Let the fixed perspective games or stay as in the 2D era. No need to try to mix it with 3D. However, some games they can make it work. They can make sure things don't obstruct your view. And from an artistic perspective, they can actually use fixed perspective. Keep that in mind to create a better art, a better presentation. Whereas with a non-fixed camera, it's harder to control what is on the screen as for, you know, from an artistic perspective. Like with fixed perspective, you can do things with foreground and background. You can use the extreme foreground, for instance, with a fixed perspective to make sure things are in the foreground, but don't also, hopefully not also obstruct your view that much. But you know that contrast between foreground and background, as well as the intermediate areas, can create some nice layering effects. I think one of the best examples I can think of is a game I played very recently on mobile. It was Lara Croft Go. It also has this sort of fixed perspective. It is not an RPG game, but it is a three-dimensional game using a fixed perspective, and that game loves to use foreground objects juxtaposed against the regular viewing area. I don't know what to call that exactly. The ground, the mid-ground, as well as background objects to create this layering effect. Creates a very striking art style, visual effect, presentation overall. And that game never had problems with things obstructing your view, unless they're trying to go for that on purpose for effect. So I'm totally fine with that. However, you know, there are always the games that don't do that very well. They don't control what objects pop up on screen, and then that's where the complaints against the fixed perspective, you know, that's where they stem from. But all in all, I think I can respect the fixed perspective as a valid presentational style as much as I can the more freeform, non-fixed camera style of game. Alright, there should be a thing here. Got a creepy treat card, Schaefer's Wafers. Schaefer, huh? As in Tim Schaefer? I think that's what they're going for. Alright, so let's see what these cards are, actually. I haven't really checked them out. One of them was Schaefer's Wafers, which we just picked up. Let's see, Candy Teeth. Weaken all minion attacks for the remainder of the fight. Interesting. There are a lot of cards that are very strong against minions, however. If you're up against the boss, then they all of a sudden become useless. That's why I don't really like them. Alright, so Schaefer's Wafer, Schaefer, where is it? Actually don't see it right away. Am I missing it? I think I am. I have to be missing it. Schaefer's. Where is it? Oh, right. Oh, there it is. 50% max HP heal to all. Okay. It's another healing card. I can use that. Maybe in configurations where I don't have a heal, it'd be nice to have an emergency heal. If I want to go for a totally offensive party, then it's a good idea to maybe keep one card as an emergency heal. Might be a good idea. I haven't had any real problems with healing or taking damage. So maybe maybe from here on out I should consider it, as I have been taking a lot of damage. But it's mostly from mistakes of bad blocking and countering. Now that I'm getting used to the counter system, I don't think I need to worry that much about my health. Alright, so how do I get back here? Okay, so there's a zip line right here, so switch over to the next costume. Alright, so fortunately, I might have to wind down the stream already. It seems like just a short amount of time, but it's mostly because of that bad start that I had with having just trouble with the stream, getting it going. Having it go down, unfortunately. With that in mind, that took away a few minutes of my time that I could have otherwise used for more discussion and a longer playthrough here. But we'll see how far we can go. Go as far as I can, and then, you know, begin where we left off in the next part. Alright, so where does this lead? Okay, candy here. I don't think I wanted to go there. Can I go back? Yes, I can. Okay, I wanted to talk to this guy here. Not that guy, but the guy that I walked past, rather. Alright. There's a guy here. Let's see what he has to say. Alright, so in case there's combat right now, what configuration do I want? Let's go. If there's going to be combat right now, then this guy might be like a mini boss or so. So with that in mind, I probably want a healer just in case. Healer is good for a boss battle, but not against really regular enemies. I want Wolfman, really good. And go with Pharaoh and Pterodactyl to weaken. Let's try this configuration. And if there's boss battle, then there's boss battle. I'm prepared. Alright. Hi, Mr. Crestwhaler. I have something for you to sign. His contract? What's this? It's a contract. The Grubbin Elder says he's buying your business. Just sign right here. I know I told him I'd sell, but that was before that crazy Trobag put up his fancy billboard. He redirected all the traffic to his place, and now I don't have any customers. There's no way I'm selling while my brand is undervalued. Tell that Grubbin that the deal is off. Get away from me with that contract. I'm bleeding candy. There's no amount of smooth talking that will get me to sign that thing. Maybe there is. Maybe I can get him to sell it. He will sign the contract. So I guess I'm gonna have to go to Jefferson for this battle. If it's gonna be a battle, maybe not. Sounds like there's nothing we can say to convince you to sign. But is there anything we can do? Not unless you can convince that cheating throwback to sell me his billboard space. All the cars are heading to his casino. He's driving me out of business. I know he won't sell, but if I could get traffic back to my place, I'll sign that contract. We'll go talk to him. Be right back. Alright, so no battle. But always good to be prepared. So, go back to the Wolfman. This zip line will take me back to another environment. There's more stuff over here, though. To see, so I might as well continue exploring. Interesting. Like a dance thing going on there. There's also this area here. Uh-oh, combat. Right away, combat. Doing a lot of exploration in this multi-level environment. Zip lines across rooftops. Actually, a lot more exciting than I'm giving it credit for. Especially for these band of 3 kids. Alright. Let's go against the weaken, or not weaken, but do lasting damage towards the enemy with the most health. That'll pay the most dividends, I think. And then, like, try and kill off the guy with the least health right now. Sounds like a sound strategy. Sweet. Okay, did not. Ooh, I actually have to be wary of the health there. Interesting. So, thankfully I have my healer up. Because I actually forgot to go back to a fountain. But that's fine. Let's finish off this guy. So actually I have to heal now. Yeah, Wren needs the most. Nice. And I guess we finish up. Actually, let's do super on this guy here. Alright. Uh-oh. Wow, first character that has been downed the entire game. Ironically, was my healer. Maybe if that was a more offensive class with better stats, I wouldn't even need the heals and wouldn't be downed in the first place. So, I guess we're finishing off this guy here. Alright. Counter! Counter! See, with 2 characters it actually becomes easier because of 50-50. So actually, as the enemies take down my guys, the remainder of my guys become more powerful. That's a really interesting thing, because they becomes much easier to counter the enemies. It's really interesting the way the combat works there, and I don't think I have enough time to discuss that in this part, but maybe I'll start off the next part with discussion on the way the counters work and interact with my characters getting knocked out, which is weird. Kind of weird. Actually, kind of a rubber band effect if you think about it. All right, let's finish off this guy, I guess. Okay. Nice. So I gotta find a fountain somewhere. Alright, there. I guess those are the billboards that we've been seeing all over the place. Way back. Somewhere. There's also a zip line here. There are 2 zip lines. Maybe I want to use that zip line to get to a fountain. And I think that's, I guess, a good time to actually end the stream, I guess. Check out where this zipline heads. Man. Actually shows off of... Oh, we're right back to the fountain, exactly where I want to go. Alright, so with that in mind, heal up all our guys again. And yeah, alright, so really interesting stuff happening. Getting a lot of really cool new abilities. I'm figuring out the counter, and that's been improving the combat a whole lot. I'm actually really liking the combat, especially with the counter factored in now that I've mastered it. It's becoming far more interesting than the first game ever achieved, that's for sure. I guess that's a topic for another time since I am winding down. So, if you tuned in, thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to catch up on to the stream, if you missed earlier parts, you can go over to my YouTube channel, to watch the archives, which is youtube.com/YamsterSam. You can also follow me on Twitter at YamsterSam. Of course, you can watch me live on Twitch, twitch.tv/YamsterSam. With that, call it an end to the stream, and I will see you next time. See you later.